Hey fellow beaders, it is JP and I am back with an earring tutorial for you. I'm calling these my honeycomb earrings because of this honeycomb pattern right here I have in the center. And very simple design. It actually looks more complicated than it is. And you only need 3 bead types, which you should probably have in your stash. So to make these, you're going to need 16 superduos, and the color over here I have is green turquoise. So there it is. I think I bought these from Michael's. So if you're wondering where I got them, Michael's, but you can probably get them from like Amazon or any bead store, online bead store. And if you have one locally, hopefully they carry it too. Next up are 8/0 beads. So these are Miyuki 8/0 duracoat galvanized champagne. I really love this color. I just think it goes with so many other colors. I just love the look of this color. Anyway, this was from Aura Crystals, in case you're wondering where I got them. So here they are. And then the 11s are also same color. It is also duracoat galvanized champagne. So just exactly the same color. And these are also from Aura Crystals. So they have them in the, I know they have them in both these sizes, obviously, since I have them, but they might even have some 15s. Anyway, so you'll just need a few of those 8/0s and maybe about 1 gram or so of the 11. So very little. And then I'm using crystal fireline. So here's my crystal. And I'd say start with maybe 14 to 16 inches or about 1.5 feet even. So 18 inches is 1.5 feet, which is 1/2 meter. Yes or no? I don't know. Those using metric system, let me know if that's right. It's been a while since I've done the conversion, so I don't remember off the top of my head. Anyway, all of the materials will be listed in the description box, so check below the video, and let's get started. All right, so to start our tutorial or earring, what you're gonna do is pick up 2 superduos, an 8, 2 superduos, 8, 2 superduos, 8, and 2 superduos and an 8. So basically you want to get 4 8s, 4 8/0 beads on there, and then 8 superduos on there. And you want to put them in this kind of alternating order, and then you're just going to tie a knot. So here I am, just going to tie a square knot. There we go. Figure out where my thread is. And so that's what you're going to get. I'm just going to finish this knot. And there you are. That's what you get. So go ahead and just go through the 8/0 bead and just go through all the beads, reinforce what we've got here. So I'm just going to go through the beads a few at a time. I've got 3. So this will pull the knot in, and you want to make sure that this is nice and tight, this ring. If it's too loose, then the earring won't be very stable. So you really want to make sure you get this first part of the base right. And I'm almost there. I can see where my tail thread is, so that's basically where I started. And now I am just going to exit out in an 8/0 bead here. And give this one more nice pull, and that's pretty good. So now what you're going to do is pick up 3 11s. And you're going to go back around just that 8/0. So we're coming out of the 8/0 and you're just going to go back through it. And you should get that. And sorry, I'm moving the camera too much. Now what you're going to do is actually go back around through the beads again. And the reason to do this is you want to stabilize our component here. So as I showed you earlier, this part is going to sit up a little bit and you don't want it to fall flat later on down the line. So reinforce this. This is sort of a required step. Make sure you get that nice and tight. No slack there in the thread. So, and also have it stand, kind of push it towards the center and then pull it tight. And then go through the super duos and come out of the next 8-0. So we're going to repeat this for all of the other 8-0s. And so I'm going to go ahead and go through that 8-0. And again, I'm giving it another just tug just to make sure that's secure. And again, you want to pick up 3 11s and go back around that 8-0. So here we go again. I'm going to pick up my 3. And just go back through the 8-0 beads, just like that, and then reinforce. Oh, I'm picking up extra thread there. And still just going through the beads here. And now coming out of that 8-0 again. So now I'm going to pull everything tight. You can see that's a little loose. I don't want that. You definitely want to get rid of that. So just, and then make sure you're pulling and pushing it towards the center and then pulling. And we're going to repeat this again. Oh, come on. There we go. Sometimes the super duos are just, especially when you have them nice and tight, they don't always line up together. And now I'm gonna go through this 8-0. And the 8-0, what's nice about the 8-0 is that it's got a big hole. So you can make several passes of thread through it and without any difficulties. So again, I am picking up 3 of my 11s and I'm going to go back just through that 8-0. And now I'm going to reinforce. So I'm going slow here just to make sure that I'm being clear. And now we tighten completely. So I'm pushing it towards the center and I'm pulling on my thread. Now continue into the next 2 super duos and then that 8-0. So this is the last 8-0. And once again, pick up 3 11s, go around the 8, reinforce, and once you've reinforced, go ahead and you want to go ahead and come out of this first, go through that first, go to the first now, or let me try that again. Keep going forward. And so I'm going to continue forward. I'm coming out of this 8-0, which is where we started this round. There it is. And now I want to come out of the very top bead, top middle 11, basically. That's the bead that's on top. And so I'm out of the 8-0. I'm just gonna go through the next 2 11s and I'll be in position. Okay, so what you're gonna do now is just connect just these top 11s together. So you're coming out of this one here at the very top. Go ahead and go through the next one, the middle 11 basically, in this next one here. And that's it. You're not adding beads or anything, and make sure your tail thread doesn't get caught up in it. So let me go ahead and get rid of the tail thread. Okay, so I'm gonna keep this loose just so you can see my thread path, but so there it is. So this one and this one are connected. Now I'm gonna connect this next one. And now I'm gonna connect, this is number 4. And then of course, number 4 gets connected to number 1, just like that. So here it is, I'm keeping it loose. You can see how it is, see the thread. And then I'm just gonna tighten it up, just like that. And there you go. You get this nice, gorgeous lattice pattern. And it's gonna sit up on top a little bit. I'm gonna go ahead and reinforce. So you wanna go through those beads multiple times because they're gonna get loose otherwise. So go ahead and just go back through the beads again. And again, keep your tension nice and tight. So you want this to be firm and not fall flat. But I just love the way it sits. Kind of reminds me of like almost like a honeycomb pattern. See, now it stays nice and secure. I've gone through it a couple times. So once you've gone through it a couple times, you just, the next step is to, let's see, that one didn't pushed back. Is to go down into the next 11 that's next to it, basically. That is part of the group that we made here. See how this is part of the grouping with the 8-0, and then go into the 8 and then the superduo. Just like that. Now you are going to switch into the other hole of the superduo. Okay, so I'm just going to put this down for a second. So there's basically 2 size gaps here. So this gap from this superduo to this superduo is wider versus the gap between these 2 superduos, because these 2 superduos are right next to each other. These 2 have an 8-0 in between them. So for the wider gap, what you're going to do is pick up an 11, an 8, and an 11, and then go through the next superduo, like so. And then for the gap that's a little bit narrower, you're just going to use the 8. And then you're just going to alternate. So just wanted to point out what you're looking at so you know exactly where to start. And again, this one is a wider gap, so I'm using an 11, an 8, and an 11. And then for the smaller gap, I'm using just the 8. Just like that. And once again, wider gap. So 11, 8, 11. Bigger gap, an 8. And last time, this is the wider gap, so 11, 8, 11 for my wide gap. And then for the narrow gap, I'm just going to put in the 8, and then I'm just going to go through the superduo here. I want to tighten everything up. So you want to kind of push this forward. So if you see it from this angle, it's these seed beads are sitting up higher, and it's got a nice domed, I guess it's probably easier to tell here, that you can see that those seed beads are in, and you get this concave look to the earring, so it adds a little bit of dimension to it. And then I want to just come out of this 8, so I'm just going to continue forward since this 8 is the one I just added. Now all I'm going to do is make a loop for my ear wires. So I'm going to go ahead and pick up 4 11s. And I'm going to do my traditional diamond pattern. So I've got my 4 11s. I'm going to go back around this 8. Just like that. I'm going to go through the first 11. And then I'm going to pick up an 11. And go into the next 11. And again, I'm going to pick up an 11, go into the next 11, and one more time. Pick up an 11, go into the next 11. And you can see I've got my cute little diamond pattern, and then I'm just going to reinforce this. So I'm going through the beads 2 at a time. I find that that works the best because of the angles, because these create these angles to the earring. So in order to make it easier on me, even though as you can see my needle's all bent up, so I'm pretty hard on needles. I bead a lot, so, and you want to make sure you're just keeping that nice and tight. And you can, you know, reinforce this a little bit more if you want, but I feel like this is usually pretty secure and my earrings do not fall apart. So now I'm just going to tie some half-inch knots. And usually the best way to do this is to tie them between a superduo and an 8 or an 11 and an 8. So So this is not an issue. This is just an angle issue. The needle tip is getting blocked. There we go. And I stabbed myself. Thank you. Yes, the hazards of beading is that you can stab yourself. I'm going to go ahead and tie a half-inch knot. So actually this one's between an 11 and a superduo, which is fine. Also, just want to hide those knots in the beads with the bigger holes. And I'm going to do another one here. And one more. And then just weave the thread away. And there we go. So let me go ahead and trim. Okay, so I went ahead and added on my ear wire loops here, to the loops rather, and there you have it. Here's the earrings. Well, I hope you liked this tutorial, and if you did, please subscribe and give it a thumbs up, and I will see you in the next one. I do have plans to get the bracelet design for you, so I will make a bracelet using this particular component design. Stay tuned. Thanks for watching.